Baba Alagba that was with Adio that went to Abejoye's house that night to ask that who is Olubeja that was with Abejoye. That same night, two major leading questions.
The man wore white military uniform and carried a gun.
That must be a naval officer. But he didn't mention whether the officer was a commander, a captain, or commodore.
No, he didn't, sir.
What an episode. What an episode. I don't even know where to start from. Should we start from how confused this old Adio's death has left a lot of people? Or should we talk about how Kinky you? Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. Should we talk about Kinky you went and made a mess of Baba Abejoye's case and even implicated herself and Baba Oluoje in the process? I wouldn't say she made a mess of Baba Abejoye's case, because that case is in the hands of the Lord. It is a case that is set out on a mission, so no human can tamper with it. But what was that? What was that? In case you're a returning subscriber, welcome back to another recap video review video of the second episode of the 8th season of Abejoye. Thank you for always coming back to check out what I'm up to on this space. And in case you're just hearing my voice in my channel, hi, welcome. I am aderonkeolorunsuyi. I review movies, talk about web series and TV shows like this. So stick around with me by subscribing to the channel. It is absolutely free. And leave a comment. What was your highlight from this episode? Lessons, most importantly, what were the lessons learned from this episode? We're going to jump right into it. I don't even expect that this review is so long, but yeah, let's get right into it. This man, the man who hits the Awokwanire's son, the man who hit Awokwanire's son with the sacred ring, we saw that he paid a visit to Bamilole's home, and in the last episode we saw that he wanted to shake the daughter, and that left us at the edge of our seats. Like, are we about to have another episode where one of the African chief traditionalists, give a child a handshake and the child falls into sickness or something? But gladly we saw that the child, she withdrew her hands and she was like, she's been told not to shake anybody. I'm like, good girl, you're learning. And that says a lot about, families, like telling children, like giving instructions to your children and see that they adhere to the instruction, just obedience. I mean, even away from being a child, like even obedience to our father, instructions and all of those things, like to a child that is so inquisitive and very curious and likes to test the waters, it can be like, why should I not shake the person? Like, it's just an handshake, but it just tells you why it's so important to obey instructions. Like, it's not important for you to find out why, just obey. And a lot of times with God, we're like, why should I do this? Why should I move out? Like Abraham questioning God, why should I move out of my father's house? Noah questioning God, why should I create an ark? All of those questions, like most times we don't need to ask why. We should just go ahead, because it's very important that we don't find out the why. And I just thought to mention that, like, that was like a lesson I drew out from that whole experience with the chief traditionalist and Bamilole's daughter. We saw that he had a sit down with Bamidele and he was talking about how he needs healing for his son. We saw that he used the same hand to slap his son like minutes after he hits Awokwanire's son, and the son has been bedridden ever since. And we saw Bamidele gave him like these instructions, like, oh, you need to go with me to Awokwanire's home and say sorry and apologize for everything you did and all of that. And he's standing on business and he's like, he's not gonna do that. Why would he go and apologize? I'm like, sir, he's like, you're not ready. Is it that you're not ready for your son to be well? You're just not ready. And the fact that he thinks that Awokwanire's son is still bedridden, I think that's what's still giving him, energy boost. Like, if he finds out that Awokwanire's son that he hates is actually well now, I think his son is well now, right? So I think if he finds that out, that might give him a change of mind, but we'll see how that goes in coming episodes. Oluoje and Kinkin pay a visit to Baba Oluoje in prison, behind bars. What was that scene with Oluoje saying, oh, the king had called for Desola, your daughter, to call Bamidele, and I'm sure that Bamidele is already in a vehicle bringing him to Nigeria before night. I'm sure he will be in Nigeria already. I'm like, Baba, what are you talking about? Do you think Bamidele is coming from Abeokuta or is coming from Eko? Because it was so hilarious. And let's talk about that conversation with Desola, and is it Desola? I think Desola is I don't even know. Bamidele's sister and himself, where they were talking about, oh, my father would not do that. Oh, I think what my father did. Oh, my father. Who else felt uncomfortable with that dialogue? You guys are talking about your father. It's supposed to be our father, right? I get that some people converse like that, but it was just so strange and so weird. Like, this person is your father, both of your fathers. Like, if you listen in without knowing the details or knowing that they're actually siblings, you would think they're talking about two different fathers. Like, it made me a tad bit confused, but I just thought to mention that we saw that when Kinkin and Oluoje were having a conversation with Baba Abejoye, the policemen were listening in via the microphones that were placed inside their visitor's tag, and it was very interesting to see how he narrated the whole thing to them. And I was thinking somewhere, I don't know why I expected these people to understand that, okay, this case is sort of a mystery. when they were listening in on what they were saying. But it grew worse when they now invited King Kinyo and Oloje on seats, and they were asking questions. Who is the Olubeja? They said he wore a white uniform and he held a gun. He must be a naval officer. I'm like, goodness, is he a comrade? Is he a commander? As in, like I said in my last review, like, these things are not the things of the ordinary. So definitely it's going to confuse them. It's going to make them look foolish. And the most exciting or the most hilarious part of it all is they feel like they have it all figured out. The chiefs, even these policemen, they feel like they have a very big case at hand. They have so many leads. They're just going to investigate. They're trying to call the naval base to find out if there was a naval officer in town, if it was on an assignment. I was just laughing. I think he even made things worse. What was that narration that she was giving? I thought she was going to start, I don't know, like, I mean, it made sense, all the stories she was telling to the policemen, when she later said that Baba Abejoye was the one that was always taking them. Baba Abejoye would usually take them, like, Bible studies. And I'm like, oh, it makes sense now. Because if you take your mind back to all these stories about Baba Molaye used to tell his son over the phone, he used to tell Fade Kemi, you will know that Okpakpo, they look alike. It was so hilarious. And I don't know if I should say that they need more understanding of the Bible, or it's just everybody at their own different growth level. But it was so hilarious the way she was narrating the story, and how she completely made a mess of everything, talking about her past life, how she used to kill people, and how she now narrated that she was one that killed one of the policemen that was standing, his elder brother. I'm like, hey, even though Oloje was trying to touch her, he was giving her this looks like, Kinkin, you two off your mic, but she wasn't budging. She was just talking. And a very core lesson I was able to draw from that part is, as Christians, we need to tame our tongues. Like, even when you're giving testimonies, yes, you're excited, yes, you're in awe, yes, you're overwhelmed, yes, it's so unbelievable, it's so incredible what had happened to you and all that. But in the process of giving your testimony, learn to tame your tongue. Like, it's like giving a testimony in church where you're like, oh, I got a job. My uncle, normally they told us to take my uncle got me a job. Normally I was supposed to be on the queue, but my uncle took me out of the queue, took me through the back. I met with the man. They interviewed me. In fact, they didn't interview me. They just collected my documents and told me to resume. I was the one that got the job, and people were still lining up on the queue. People were still on the queue trying to get interviewed. Like, how would that sound to somebody who has gone through very, very strenuous interview processes? Like, it's like, oh, are you trying to say, like, things shouldn't be done the right way? Because that's corruption. Like, your uncle literally took you behind the doors, took you through the back doors to gain access to this job that a lot of us has been waiting. We've been there since morning, and all of those things. Like, it wouldn't sit right with somebody else who didn't get a job through the right process, right? Communicating in general, like, it's very important that we watch what we are saying. That argument that happened between Oloje and Kinkinyo, I was just like, see, God is working on everybody. Because when she kept threatening him that, if not that, if it was the old me. And the Oloje was like, you cannot do anything. You already have God. Both of us are in Christ. You can't do anything to me. If it was before, you'd have told me to crawl from here to Kaduna. It was so hilarious. Coming back to my exhortation for episode 3, I think this Babalaga is going to be invited to come and give a statement. Like, he's going to come and explain to us how he saw everything he's been spreading across the town. He's been the one spreading all the terrible, terrible rumors. And I feel like that way, maybe the case is going to progress. But yeah, that's basically it for this episode. This was a bit lengthy than my last review. But yeah, we needed to say some things that needed to be said. But let me know what your thoughts are concerning this episode. What was your highlight? What was your favorite character? What did you think about King Kinyo and Oloje's outburst at each other? Think about Baba Abejoye's case moving forward. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. I love seeing my next video. But until then, make sure to remain happy because you owe it to yourself. Bye.